first guest speaker. Our first guest speaker is Pam Pearsall. She's been involved in the real estate market in Arizona since 1975. Pamela has owned and operated several appraisal businesses over the years before she was elected as a county assessor in 2008. Pamela has dual licensing both as a general certified appraiser, certified by the Arizona Board of Appraisal, and certified appraiser through the Arizona Department of Revenue. She also has a special designation in manufactured housing through the National Association of Master Appraisers. She currently is serving as a president of the Arizona Association of Assessors Officers. She's got a lot of assessor jobs, doesn't she? Pamela is a third-generation native of Arizona and a lifelong Republican. Let's give a warm welcome to Pamela Pearsall.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay in the back? Yeah. Okay. So I guess I sound like a smarty pants. Thank you for that. So I used to have an appraisal company. I'm a general certified appraiser. I can appraise anything from vacant land to high rises. And I had an appraisal company for some reason, and I don't know why. As a little girl, I wanted to grow up and be the assessor. I must have heard the word somewhere, and in my mind, assessor was somebody that was respected, got to wear really nice clothes and nice shoes. And this is true, and I would ask my mother when I'd get a new outfit, do I look like I could be an assessor? And she would say yes. And it was always kind of a running joke. So when I got married, my husband, a smart man, would say yes when I got a new outfit. Do I look like the assessor? And he'd say yes. So I had this appraisal company. It was kind of a joke that we do. One day, a mentor of mine came in and he said, the current assessor at Victor Hambrick is mired in controversy. Did you read the paper today? He said, if you want to really be the assessor, you should run. Well, I didn't know much about politics. I was Republican. I voted, but I hadn't been very involved. So I went and got a book, How to Run a Campaign, talked to my sister, and my sister said she'd be my campaign manager. So off we went. We started getting our signatures, doing our thing, and then my sister discovered that she had breast cancer. Now, for those of you that have met my sister, you know she's the light of this world. My sister is an amazing, fantastic person, and she had breast cancer. So I told her, I won't run for assessor. I'll stay home and help you with your kids because my appraisal company is pretty flexible. She had minor children, I can help. And she said, no, you're gonna run for assessor and I'm gonna beat cancer. And we're gonna both do it. So if you remember, or if you look at my picture in the back, I started to run and I saw Rosie the Riveter and she kind of looked like my sister because my sister had lost her hair and was wearing the little scarf. And then I put the little pink ribbon on Rosie the Riveter, and Rosie the Riveter says, together, we can do this. And that was our motto, and it was a secret code to my sister to say, together, you'll beat the cancer, and I'm gonna win my race and become the assessor. That was kind of how things started. Well, I'd go with my sister, and I would watch her, and hold her hand and put a blanket on her as she did the chemotherapy. And I'd see the other people, and I just was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever to have cancer. And I was sort of embarrassed because I had gotten into the race wanting you to like me, wanting to dress really nice and wear really pretty shoes. Because as an appraiser, you know, you're like in boots under the houses and measuring. And I looked at these women, and it dawned on me, if I get elected, I work for them. They have real problems, and a problem they shouldn't have is if their elected official represents them or is self-serving. So I vowed, I'm religious, I vowed to God that if I got elected, I would never forget who I served, and it wouldn't be myself, it would be people with wayward teenagers, or aging parents, or going through cancer, but it wouldn't be whether I was serving them or not. And then I got elected. That was really difficult to have that vow and get elected. I, honest to goodness, thought being the assessor was a technical, mathematical job, and I'm good at math. I'm very good at appraising. I'm very good at technical stuff. But being an assessor has been kind of political. In fact, I remember telling my husband, he said, I don't like politics, I'm kind of shy, I like to stay out of the limelight. And I said, but assessor, that's technical. Well, it's been very political, because the first week I got into office, somebody filed a complaint. My first week, thank you very much. And the complaint was, in Yavapai County, you are not handling agricultural properties the way the law says to make it. Now this complaint, I don't know if it was formal, I don't know what the deal was, it came from the Department of Revenue, and they said, Pam, go check. So I walked back in my high heels to the file cabinet, and I opened it up, and what I discovered was agricultural properties in Yavapai County had some issues, they had some problems, they had not been updated for at least 30 years. So like, we update your houses every year. There's a statute that you're supposed to follow for agricultural properties. For whatever reason, they have not been updated for 30 years. So we get a lease study, we update the values, and we send them out. The diamond went by, people weren't happy, and I have kind of the articles in the back. If anybody's interested, we can pass them out, because I know I only have a short time to put a long story. So about 4 years had passed, it's up for re-election. I've gotten some pressure about this ag stuff, there's some lawsuits going on, but I'm getting political pressure to, look, just lower those values. Nobody knows what you do behind closed doors. Lower those values, life will be pretty good. And I'm saying, look, the Board of Supervisors can lower those values in front of taxpayers. But I'm going to do these studies, I'm going to do the math, and 2 + 2 = 4. I'm not going to say it equals 1. I'm not going to do it. Time for re-election, and my sister gets breast cancer again. I'm like, Debbie, you just don't want to be my campaign manager. I'm having enough of this. I'm tired of actually exploiting your breast in my speeches. But this time she had like a whole mastectomy, and luckily nobody ran against me, so I was able to help her. And I was able to renew, again, the purpose. It doesn't matter how much pressure I have. I just work for you, and I'm going to continue to work for you. And you know what? You don't like me, I'll go be an appraiser, because that was a lot more fun. I tell you what, it was a lot of fun. So I won that election because, Mickey Mouse didn't get that many votes. And so I won. So it continues. If that hadn't happened with the ag, my life would have went pretty smooth as the assessor. But what I've learned is, as an assessor, if I give one taxpayer a favor that they don't legally have, it makes the rest of you pay more. So being you're probably not the one I'm going to give a favor to, you probably just want me to treat everybody the same. And that's all I'm doing. So I honestly thought, gee, maybe I'm not going to run again, because it really hasn't been a thrill like I thought it was going to be. And darn if my sister didn't contact me 2 weeks ago and say, well, it looks like I might have cancer again. And I'm like, this is absolutely, I swear, this is ridiculous. But we found out yesterday that she is clean of cancer.
Hallelujah.
And I just want to tell you, in my life, that was the most important thing that could have happened. And so if you want to keep me, I'm here, I'm running. I would like your signatures in the back. I really want your prayers. Money rocks. But if you want my opponent, I'm fine with that too. I'm ready to be released. It's whatever you want. I'm here for you. So, and obviously, there may be questions, and because I've been in the paper a lot. And so, rather than get into the details of that, I'll let you ask questions if you have them.
Okay, since we have 2 speakers today and 2 different topics, we're going to have some short period questions for Pam. As a president, I get to ask the first question, and as we've all seen in the paper, this is the issue here of Sunday, January 10th, this is a couple days ago. You've been in the news somewhat, Pam, here about the supervisor did something to you, and of course the very independent always gets it right from their view. And I asked Pam, she would explain to us briefly, and I said to her briefly, what has been going on here, Pam?
briefly, right? So basically, I was told by one board of supervisor, and I have a witness, that they were taking my cartographers as political political retribution, because I refused to cooperate with my agricultural values. So I had to be punished, and they decided to take 10 or 5 of my cartographers. Well, I decided to get smarty pants in politics and reorganize my office. Long story short, get rid of one employee and realign, because they never thought they'd take title. What would they want title for? And they took them both. They took 10 employees. So I said, hey, you can't do that. That's illegal. And they said, no, it's not illegal. So I asked the Yavapai County Attorney, is that legal for them to just take my employees and like I can't do my job anymore? And Yavapai County said, we are conflicted out. We cannot answer that question. We will send that question to Maricopa County Attorney. Maricopa County Attorney answered in June 2015, that would be illegal. They can't do that. Nobody was persuaded. They decided they disagreed. And they continued to hold the people. And I'm like, hey. And so I asked all the assessors, hey, what do I do? They said, sue. And I'm like, well, I don't want to sue because the Board of Supervisors hire an attorney and they pay it. The taxpayers pay. The assessor hires an attorney and the taxpayers pay. And then I win, but the taxpayers lose, and I work for the taxpayers. So I talked all the assessors into writing a letter. They all signed it, and we sent it to the Attorney General and said, make them stop. Well, the Attorney General responded and said, no, but if you get a county attorney to ask me if it's legal or not, I will give you an opinion. So Sheila Polk, our county attorney, agreed to ask the question. She did. We got an answer. And even though the Board of Supervisors still is not persuaded, they agreed it's not worth going to court and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a judge's opinion, that they'd go ahead and give me those employees back. So I'm going to get those employees back.
Jim has a microphone. If you want to ask a question, raise your hand and talk into the microphone. I have a good command voice because I'm ex-military, so I can talk loud,
You're
but
still military.
some of you cannot. So who wants to ask the second question?
And if there's no questions, that's fine.
So Pam will be here after the
I
meeting.
will be here to answer any questions, or you can call
And
me.
she has her signature back here. For those
Got
that
one
don't
over
know
here.
that,
Pam, thank you for that explanation, but what about the other one that was in the paper this last week?
The nepotism charge.
Yes. Can
Yes.
you walk us through that?
I can. So what happened was I have a daughter named Ashley, and Ashley, she's military, her husband's military, so a lot of times when her husband gets deployed, she'll come back and visit me. And I work at the assessor's office. I actually go in there and work. And so she would come in and she would volunteer. She'd come in and she'd do filing or whatever. She's an awesome employee. We could go to lunch or whatever. So she got acquainted with all my staff because she'd come in and volunteer every once in a while. So the office manager came to me one day and said, we have this project and we have money. Can I hire Ashley to do it instead of explaining to her and having her volunteer? And I said, well, yeah, that's fine with me. I thought it was great, as long as it's okay with HR. So they filled out the paperwork. Nobody hid that she was my daughter. If you look at the paperwork, I'm her emergency contact. She has a relative. It's the assessor. Very honest. But, and so HR processed it and Ashley got hired. What I didn't know is that's absolutely not legal. There's a law that says you cannot hire a relative, and I had broken that law. Not only did I break it once, I broke it twice because she left, and another time when she came back, they hired again. So twice she worked for the assessor's office. I wasn't her supervisor, but at the end of the day, I am the appointing authority. I'm responsible. So I get an email from HR, and HR says, we found there's a law, and there's a law, and you can't be doing this. So I called I was in Tennessee when I got the email. So I called the office manager and I told him, you have to let Ashley go because we can't have her on. Within 15 minutes of getting the email, I let Ashley go. So here I am in Tennessee, poor Ashley's in Arizona, and she doesn't even have this job anymore. So when I come back, they eventually sent it for investigation, it got charged, and then I just made the agreement, hey, I'll just pay all the money back. So it's like as if Ashley had volunteered. It's worse than that for me though, because I terminated her, and I felt bad. I also bought her an $800 vacuum that automatically does stuff, speaks Japanese. So I spent that $6,000 plus $800 Japanese vacuum cleaner. But anyways, so I paid it back, and if I don't break any more, any more crimes, that was a misdemeanor class 2. But if I don't break any more laws, they'll dismiss that charge in 6 months.
Well, thank you very much here. We got to move on. Pam is gonna go out now and raise my tax bill, she told me. I didn't ask for any special favors, and she said, if it doesn't go good, Bob, you will see a further raise next year. She's really fair, isn't she? But there's a signature list back there, as we all know. By signing it, you're not necessarily voting for Pam, she just needs to get on the ballot, okay? So sometimes when you're at the fair and stuff, others are working there, and we say, I'm not voting for that person, says, no, we're just asking for a signature. So please do that, and Pam will be hanging around at the end and talking about your tax bill.